look at our names.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like our names. Look at my last name. My last name's a slave name.
Right.
Where is home exactly?
But even
Where's,
for somebody
no,
else to call
no,
us that.
no. What I'm saying is like we don't know what kings really look like.
Mm.
We don't know. We're seeing them for the first time, and it's like the media would like to do anything to make you believe that that's not what we are, and that's not who we are. And honestly, you know, we're two of the most honest and expressive people in media, as far as black people
Right.
go. And with me, it's like I don't use my mind. I mean, people are like, well, obviously he doesn't use his mind. No, I use my gut.
That instinct, your inner
I
spirit.
use my instinct. My instinct is infinite. My mind is limited and only an instrument.
Bars. Bars. Nah, man. And you touch on that in that same way to where, even that you talk about you in South Carolina and being vulnerable and opening up and you have such a passion, one, for your own children, but children around the world. And people feel like they want to say, oh, well, Ye doesn't know what he's talking about when he's coming to that, or why is he crying and all these things, where why not?
It's the world that thinks that you shouldn't cry and be in repentance when you just even to think and to fathom the thought, that is the world that is sick. The world is sick, but I'm going to tell you one thing about media. I'll hop in the car with a paparazzi. I hire paparazzi.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? If I could, hey, I know y'all. Let me tell y'all. I know y'all are right.
Call the paparazzi
down.
on myself.
Yeah, I call the paparazzi on myself. Like I know it's down because of COVID. I am hiring. I buy all the paparazzi companies. I want to pick the exact photo.
This is billionaire
exact,
talk right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to get the exact. It's always been an idea of mine. I said, man, I should just purchase the paparazzi companies.
I'm pretty sure TMZ is for sale.
Man, in America, everything is for sale except for our souls.
Come on now.
And it's location. Now, people talk about location on some. You thinking I'm saying like you should spend more? I'm saying you should spend less. You could spend $100 million for neighbors if you want.
Right.
I ain't finna spend $100 million for neighbors.
Right. Facts.
I need no neighbors.
Right. There's definitely no neighbors out here.
if I'm dropping that, I need to have absolutely. Look. So, the idea of life. There's some harsh facts that deal with the black genocide that is abortion. And it's happening every day. And right now, God has given me the information, and he ain't gave me no other information other than this information.
Right.
And we have this right now. So that means he wants me to say this now. If God didn't want me to run on stage and say Beyonce had the best video, he would have sat me in the front row. I would have been sitting in the back. They wouldn't have made it the first award. And wouldn't have made it so ridiculous of an idea, because I had never heard of this person before then. And this Single Ladies is like one of the greatest videos of all time.
So you spoke your mind. You spoke your truth.
I was only drinking Hennessy.
I was about to say you had a bottle of Hennessy.
Because I didn't want to go to the award show because it was a setup.
Right.
Now, okay, so now let's get to life. In 50 years, there's been 22 million 500,000 black people aborted strategically and on purpose. Planned Parenthood was set up and placed in minority communities to kill black people.
You're talking about when Margaret Sanger, the originator of Planned Parenthood at the time, because a lot of people, when you say things like that, in their defense, they say, well, Planned Parenthood today is a different organization. But what you
Here we go.
But what
Margaret
you cannot
Sanger.
deny is these facts that Ye is about to give you right now.
Here we go. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was an avowed racist whose goal was to reduce the black population in America, and she succeeded. 80% of abortion clinics in America are in minority neighborhoods. Over 22,500,000 black babies have been aborted in 50 years. Over 1,000 black babies are aborted every day. So that means we are inside of it as we speak.
This is genocide. So wait,
we are inside of genocide as we speak.
What about the people that are going to argue and say, but, you know, Kanye doesn't have the right to speak on that because he's not a woman. The fact that Planned Parenthood does a lot of amazing things and they're in those communities because they need to be in those communities.
Well, I have to go to the word. God says he knew you before you were in the womb.
Yup, Jeremiah 1:5.
Yeah. So I got one other statistic. Abortion is the #1 killer of black lives in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Mm-hmm. Abortion kills more black people than HIV, homicide, diabetes, accidents, cancer, and heart disease. Watch this one. Combined.
Yeah.
Combined, 3,000 shootings in Chicago a year, 700 murders. You got to put that with heart disease. You got to put that with HIV. You got to put that with diabetes. You got to put that with just accidents.
Yeah,
and you put that with cancer. Yeah. And it doesn't add up to specifically abortions. And if you think about that number, 1,000 black babies are aborted each day. Yeah. And it's funny because I've sent this to people, and there's some people that say, wow, that touches me. There's some people say, I feel that. And there's an overwhelming amount of people that I sent it to, and their response was, thank you for sending that.
With no emotion.
With no emotion. Thank you for sending? Thank you for, why would you thank anyone for sending that? I didn't even want to have to say the information out loud. But God said, yay, I need to use you. I'm one of the bullhorns. He's just been prepping me. Yeah. And he's been protecting me.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for years. I mean, you and I put Can I Live together, and probably my best record, co-produced by Kanye West.
Well, most people's records that are co-produced by Kanye West usually are their best record.
No, but we joke, but in something serious, this is something that's been, close to us because we both grew up with single mothers who were put in a situation.
I had a non-custodial father. That's right. My dad was and also what I want to say is I love my mom. My mom and my dad had an agreement that I would see my dad every other week, see my mom every other week. She took a job in Chicago because it paid more. And then I would only see my dad on spring break and in the
summertime. Yeah,
so
same.
A white organization offered this black woman more money, and I saw my dad less.
Wow. And see, this is where I see the passion. Like I said, we've both been put in situations to where, our mothers was young, they had us, so we feel a certain way. My mom was on the way to the abortion clinic. Our fathers had very similar situations about, not necessarily being ready or wanting a child in that moment, but we're here because of that. Is this the reason why, is this what you're utilizing your platform now? Because with the whole presidency thing, because that's the other thing. Like, because people asking me like, "Are you Ye's vice president now?" And what where is the message? And can you do all of this without the presidency, or is this really important for Kanye 2020?
Well, it hit me to run for president in 2015.
Right, we saw that.
It was about 3 days before the award show.
I was there. I was like,
and it hit me, and it was funny to me. When I said, I was like, this is it. I'm gonna say this. And then also when I came up with the name of my party, the birthday party, it was funny to me. It was just crazy. It was Jay-Z. I was like,
Jay-Z.
that's it. The
But it was
birthday
genius
party.
at the same time.
And you know what made it so? I can only give God the glory because of the connection point to the birthday. The connection point to the birthday party is dealing with life and pro-life.
Right.
Because these are kids that now are gonna get a chance to have birthdays. Like for Daily Mail who want to tear me down, for anyone who wants to tear me down for crying, you realize that because of South Carolina, there are people who have decided to have the child because they connected. And if they were on the fence about it, they never saw anyone in my position take that position.
Facts.
And say, look at this. This is a 7-year-old right here. And she might have never made it here.
Right.
And so when I talked to my father made me apologize to him for bringing this up publicly.
I've had that conversation with my father as well.
And then he also said, you know, the abortion culture teaches people that a child isn't a real soul. And it was my wife that said, this is a soul. And the scariest thing is she had the pills. You know, you take these pills, you take them, and the next morning the baby's gone. She had the pills in her hand. And a lot of times people say, well, they want to jump to the most radical reason of why someone would not have a child. I said, you know why I said not have a child? Because I'm still so mindful as a man about using the word abortion. That's how shook we are about using the word abortion as men.
It's a topic that they say as men we should not be able. As two men sitting here, we should not be having a full conversation about abortion.
Well, that's a strategy to take the male opinion out of any conversation. Just taking the leaders and the males out of neighborhoods in the 80s. It's like you take that opinion because you need both opinions.
Right.
You need the male and the female opinion, and also it's both people's child. Now I can get into, you know, the funny thing is I posted a picture because I read that in New York. I heard that you can abort after 9 months, but I saw on Google they said 24 weeks, and I showed a picture on my Twitter of a 24-week-year-old fetus. Would that be the term? And I got backlash. How you gonna put up that abortion tweet? And you know what it is? I was trying to appeal to humanity. But we can see in this world by the reaction that people had to me crying that there is no humanity. You could see the state of the world.
What's a lot of people in pain, yeah? Like it's a lot of people, so they focus on their pain and like they want to polarize. They want to say this is where you wrong. You can't do this. You can't do that, or ridicule or make fun of it.
Yeah. So now, since there is no humanity, then there has to just be God and man, and you can't serve two masters. So, who are you working for?
Right, and that's the question for the ages. So the fact that you know you have such an influence, such an amazing power. You've proven people wrong time and time again. So people take you very seriously when you say these things. So when you speak on topics that are polarizing like abortion, when you speak on topics even like the man's place, the black man's place in society, when you speak on the efforts of being able to say what you want to say, does that ever, because I know you're a man of instinct, but does that, the backlash that you do receive, do you ever get concerned about that? Because I don't, and I didn't, but now when I hurt people with my words, I didn't mean to do that. And that's where I was like, all right, this is a different energy for me, because I used to be like, you know how we vibe, like, say what the hell I want to say. But when people are in pain and then you see people come to conflict because of what you said, that can't be what you want.
Bro, we be having to act like housekeepers in America. The most influential, strongest black voices have to act like housekeepers. And what I mean by that is, and I love housekeepers, right? But a housekeeper, if one housekeeper speaks up, they're going to say, shut up. You're going to get us all fired. That's our position. We were brought over here in servitude to this country. So as soon as we start to make any moves, if it's not the way that we were told, the way that we were bought, the way then you crazy. Bro, I got snubbed off the Forbes list for 2 years that they said I wasn't a billionaire. How you jump from a net worth of $240 million to $3.3 billion?
Right.
Unless you've been snubbed. And it felt like we're not going to allow people to know that someone that didn't follow our rules could actually make it.
Right.
Then God gave increase.
Right.
You know, when I had Sunday service, when I went to the hospital the first time, one of the things I wrote down was start a church in Calabasas. And we sang Jesus' name to the hills in the center of the city of Los Angeles. Well, actually in a suburb of the city of Los Angeles. But that just didn't sound as fresh. But I stood in the gap. You know, we say that. We say we stand in the gap. We standing in the gap. And God said, I got something for you. I'm going to have you standing in the gap for real. For real. And the funny thing is, you know.
And it's full circle for you.
Yeah, yes, 27 years.
Right.
27 years since I got fired at the Gap. Let me not even put that out there.
You're not going to get fired this time. You're a boss. You can't fire a boss.
Well, man, you know, it's like when your name connected to the stock price. So
you've had those conversations too, I see. Don't mess this up. The shareholders are they're betting on you.
so God had me stand in the gap, and just much like David. Now, even if you're non-Christian, you know the story of David and Goliath. But just to get, and I'm a new Christian. You know, I'm just a recent convert. Grew up in the church, but I'm a recent convert. So God had David tend to the sheep. And when Goliath came to town, no one had known that David had to fight a lion, had to fight a bear. And he said, I just need these 3 smooth stones. As we know, everybody knows the story.
Yeah,
that
that jawbone. Yeah.
So one of the interesting things at Sunday service, I actually had to design wardrobe all the time. And I spent every dime that I had for marketing from Yeezy on Sunday service.
Wow.
Every dollar I had, I spent $50 million last year.
Wow.
On Sunday service. If you add up the operas,
wow.
if you add up the flights, there was 120 people going to Jamaica.
Wow.
But the Yeezys.
All out of your pocket.
Well.
To spread the gospel.
Yes. With the Yeezys,